17:45. If you joined slightly early before everything, you've been watching Colonial Rebel, a friend of mine, playing Black Ice. He is one of the devs there, but we're going to be playing, yes, you guessed it, World Ablaze. Here, I'll give people a few minutes to show up while I'm sort of getting ready still. I know this is not the most graceful start to a stream, but hey. But yes, we are here. Okay. Let's make an episode or two. Hey, Toy Jet. Hello to you. Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 with the World Ablaze mod, and of course we're playing as Germany now. Uncharted Kath, I believe he is the lead developer for the mod. He posted below, very nice long post. I remember some of it. Not that I didn't read it, it just, my memory isn't the best to this. How are you on this lovely day? I'm doing pretty well. It's morning here, so it looks like a nice day to come. Okay, so now he advised, from what I remember, again, like I said, I did read, but not necessarily remembering all the details. Now, okay, and he said he might try to show up. I don't know if he's going to be available this time to help give hints, tips, suggestions, maybe argue for his viewpoints in the mod. This is an area that I have concern with. The unstable economy effect. Now, I've looked at the German economy reasonably closely from a, casual sort of sense. I know that's almost contradictory in terms. There's a few more books I want to read on it, that even Adam Toz's Wages of Destruction. I have it was really cheap. I bought a digital copy of the book recently, and I want to read it. I have not read that yet. But I've read quite a bit about Germany and the German economy. Oh, long term, like for all of the nations that were involved in World War II in any significant way, long term, the economic activities are, I would say, unstable as we understand economies. I don't know if you can have truly perpetual war without, I don't know, massively regressing to something sort of like Afghanistan, where you just sort of different tribal areas that are sort of constantly battling each other. So, and whether you are fighting a war or you are preparing for one, it's a costly venture. And so I'm still talking about this, and I hope, hey, people, I know everyone wants exciting playthroughs, but I think it's important to talk about these kinds of things, especially if a modder is putting this into the game. And so this is my concern. Now, I've been advised to go to more aggressive capabilities here, not to worry so much about the unstable economies, because, well, I guess there may have been some events for getting Austria, the solution, and later on for Czechoslovakia to counterbalance it. So we will jump to that, which will help production and such. I'm not saying it's wrong, because, in the short run, Keynesianism works. In the long, it's always damaging. But sometimes what it's trying to fix is less damaging than Keynesianism. I'm sort of just using that as a blanket term. And it's sort of priming the pump. It's the idea of government spending, basically, on things, kickstarts an economy. And so, like, if you're building a bridge across the Rhine here, it's going to take trains, but it's going to be expensive to do. And none of the train companies, say, want to outlay all the money to do it, and the bankers are worried about how long it's going to take to be paid back. But the government just says, hey, we'll build a bridge, we'll spend the billions of dollars or Reichsmarks or whatever it is to build the fantabulous bridge across the sort of impossible thing. And whether we take out government government secured bonds, or just simply print the money, you do that. And then you have economic activity of the trains zipping back and forth. It's sort of Keynesianism in that you prime the pump, but you've also built an essential infrastructure. But let's say you already have a bridge, but hey, your economy's flagging. You have a lot of unemployed. You have, steel factories that they got the steel, no one wants to buy it because the economy's down. Well, sort of Keynesianism is, well, hey, build another bridge, prime that pump. All those people, the steel mills will crank out steel, which will employ their employees, they'll make money, they'll hire people to build a second bridge, it'll get that economy flowing. And that is sort of, I know this is turning into an economic talk. Really didn't mean it, but it's sort of what happened when they dammed the Colorado River here. And with Boulder or Hoover Dam, it's sort of called both. And set that up here as a massive in the 1930s, right around now. Maybe slightly before. I don't know the exact date on that, but it's still one of the biggest damming projects. One of the big dammest projects in the world. One of the biggest projects in the world. Yeah. And at that time, it was mainly pumping, because Vegas was very small. Mostly pumping electricity to LA and San Diego and whatnot. And so, that was a very useful thing, but it did get a lot of people employed. Building the dam, all the intermediate steps, making the turbines to put in there for the hydroelectric power. There was a lot of stuff going on that really made the economy flow. Having the, just building it made the economy flow during the Depression. And then it providing a lot of electricity, capable of providing a lot more than it did at start, just because there wasn't a demand for it. came in very, very useful once World War II, because California was one of the major aircraft producing areas in the United States. So, thank you, noisy car. Now, another Keynesian type thing happened was it wasn't damaging to the U.S., but damaging to other countries, was the start of World War II and building all the arms. Now, in the U.S., it was simply a commercial action, and somebody was showing up with money and, hey, we want to buy guns or aircraft, and making them in the U.S. and selling them, excuse me, that kind of thing. And then, of course, all of the U.S. government spending itself, once it gets into the war, really gets economic activity in some ways going, but in some ways it's sort of, excuse me, just drinking a Coke here and hiccuping a bit. People working in tank factories aren't saving up money to buy cars because other people are working in truck factories instead of automobile factories. They convert them to truck factories or Jeep factories to use in the army. So people were making good money but didn't have anything to spend it on. That's why one of the reasons they did all the buying bonds campaign. Yeah, to fund the war. Yeah, that's what they told people. And it was a way, instead of purely printing money, a way to fund the war. Absolutely. But it also sucked the money out of the system. All these people that were earning good money bought bonds that would get paid off with interest, loans, interest later on. And that was bad for the government because it meant it needed to tax the people. Again, they wanted to tax the people to suck the money out of the economy. But they kept taxing the people into the 1960s and beyond to pay for World War II. Now, so Keynesianism hurts America pretty badly, building all the arms for World War II and paying all the soldiers to go off and fight in wars instead of do something productive. But obviously, losing the war would be worse than any damage in Keynesian economics would have. Hey, Fazul, how you doing? Explaining economics here. It's the best way to keep people riveted to a video. Actually, probably the opposite. Probably I've lost most of the viewers. So, Keynesianism is bad and damaging, but what it's maybe trying to fix is worse than the damage of Keynesianism is. And so a lot of politicians like Keynesianism because they may not be around or don't plan on being around when the bill comes due. Don't say that, gamer. Well, I know it's sort of true. But, they're not going to, politicians may not be around, but also they're doing something today, so it's something they can control. Because if you just sort of leave things up to the free market, sort of be like Hoover, fix the economy but lose the election. And so by doing something, that's something the politicians can do. Spend government money. Oh, you think it's riveting? Well, very good, Toyjet. I'm glad you do. And so, so politicians, it's something they can do as opposed to going, hey, yeah, free market, it'll fix it. No, we're having a depression. No, free market, it'll fix it. And that fixed I forget the exact years, the 1920 depression in America that was really bad, really brief. Hoover and Coolidge, actually more Coolidge, I guess. Coolidge, yeah. Really bad depression, really brief, got through it, went through it. Things roared on in the roaring 20s. It was sort of really about the roaring economy in the 1920s. Another depression hits. Hoover sort of goes, let's do nothing. FDR, let's do something. FDR gets elected. It becomes a Great Depression because he does things that are bad. Oh, Marshall, keep it up, my man. Thank you. Thanks for the encouragement. I'm glad that some people like my talk. So, because we're all looking at this time period, the 1920s, which is the rise of Hitler, 1930s, latter part of rise of Hitler, the rise of Nazi Germany with Hitler in power. And so, but in America, we have certain forms of Keynesianism going on that prolong the Depression and make it bad. Now, some of the policies I could maybe get behind. Soup kitchens, make sure people aren't starving, things like that can be helpful. And because I'm not a purist on any economic system, this is why I will always fail the, libertarian test, because libertarianism is a nice but very, very, very dangerous ideology. It's not an oppressive ideology like communism or fascism, but it's an ideology that really comes out of America when it sort of looks back at the 19th century. And you look at the 19th century of America, big oceans around it, the army out there fighting the Indians, sort of peacekeeping force. Mexico isn't any really big threat. Canada, the British Empire, they got plenty of things keeping them busy and really aren't going to attack. So yeah, in sort of a nice idyllic world, without any real threats, hey, libertarianism works. And Ron Paul, stay out of the Middle East, stay out of the Middle East. Yeah, as the Middle East comes to us, or other areas that I value, say like the Western civilization. Now that doesn't mean that I'm for constant intervention on an unlimited scale. I mean, it isn't a duopoly of ideas. It isn't, America retreat from the world and just defend our shores, or America must be in every conflict everywhere and be the policeman everywhere. That's sort of the, duopoly of thought. It's either this or that. Hey, there's middle grounds, and where, it's case by case for me. So yeah, and so this gets back to the mod. This concerns me because I don't know what the hell is this really. I can see the effect here, but we already know the time scale. We already know what can be done, what Germany can do, because we look at Albert Speer and what he does. Starting in 1942, he starts, really doesn't get really going, in my opinion, till 1943. And so we can see what Germany can do. And yeah, if you start in 1936 running the economy as a total war economy that we see in 43, 44, yeah, that's going to destroy Germany. But that's sort of kind of what, and whether we could argue, this isn't available yet. The war economy, I could argue it either way. Definitely partial mobilization would be a very doable thing for Germany at this time without this. And so to me, this is like a clock that's built in that if we were going to say, we're going to sit at peace until 1942, building up Germany's army, building an air force and navy and all that stuff, that this would be more reasonable. But I think if we're having a 1939 to 1940 start date, then I think it's unnecessary. First leader, cautious, entry officer, career officer. Okay. I hate these colors. I just hate them with a burning passion. I don't know why. Oh, can't you just click? There we go. It's better. Couldn't you have gotten a color palette that was more conducive to World War II? Okay, so that is my concern now. So I'm, don't want to do things too much. All these the same templates, I guess. Yeah, looks like it. Okay, well, we're going to be facing a Poland here. Let's draw a front line for the fun of it along here. Just for the fun of it now. Okay, I think we're going to build a few more steel mills. That was also in the nice advice given by the devs. That will help with the steel. I think we have the coal for some more aluminum smelters as well. So let's get that going. Now, okay. We have Anschluss. We need a bigger army for demanding Sudetenland. Yeah. 37, trying to look here. We don't need those. Alliance with Italy. Not quite yet. I'm going to go with the historical, do weapons. On track. We don't want to do anything else first. Well, that would be some nice. Adding a lot of productivity, replace with it. See, this here significantly increases. Plan Z, big honking battleships. You just want pretty toys, don't you, Toy Jet? What would Germany do with big honking battleships other than get them sunk? Do we even have naval planning somewhere? Oh, I think it's over this way further. Now, I'm generally liking. That's Luftwaffe. Oh, here it is, naval effect. Do we have a specific plan Z? Okay, yes, we do have this here. Research, but no, we're not going to do this now. I take advice from the chat, but I'm not necessarily going to do what they say. And so this is jumping the expand domestic mining, which very much, along with some of like aluminum smelters and steel production, is very much what Hermann Goering Works, which added steel mills, right, was part of the 4-year plan was doing. So we'll do that. Anschluss of Austria. Now we need more heavy infantry equipment. We have a bunch more factories. Question Yugoslavia. Yeah, we'll put this. Oh, yes, we got to do that. Pause. Okay, Indian National Cars. Yes, yes, I said yes. Okay, come over here. I don't remember to do this. To me, this is a boring little thing you have to worry about clicking. No, I want to hear your thoughts, but see, I need a purpose for building the ships. What would we do? Yeah, somebody might listen to you with the ships. Because I'm just the type of person that would rather put my emphasis on the indirect approach. Okay, what we will do is if we get so far in this playthrough, we have the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau. And we have, although we don't use those old battleships, those probably wouldn't work very well. Because we don't have in production. Just doing well. We'll use the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau to do a Panzer shift, as you're saying. Commerce raiders. We'll try that out. Okay, well, let's first look over at infantry, or ground warfare, I should say. Okay, now it looks like we've got this done. Can we come over here? Let's see. Elastic defense. Yeah, I think I would. Okay, we will research this. Now that we've got done with that. And we're still coming through this. We're over here. So, creeping barrage, nice World War I. Zeroing of artillery. Unexpected thrust. I sort of like that. Removing firepower. So let's do this. Cannot possibly fail. I'm sure it couldn't possibly fail. Okay, that's expanding our domestic economy heavily. Okay. Okay, so we've done that. See nothing wrong with the plan. Yes, yes. But the question is what is your plan? Is your plan to have Glorious death battles out in the wastes, out on the track, out in the mid-Atlantic or something? Is that your plan, to gloriously be sunk in battle? Yeah, more or less. Okay, yeah, that would actually work. That's not necessarily my plan, but that would actually probably work. Okay, let's see. We have better 7B classes. That's nice. Yeah, I don't know if I want to try to research some of this other stuff here. Yeah. Let's do formation fighting. I sort of like that better. Gotta have like cool naval battles results to look at. Yeah, you and Arno want to look at naval result battles. Okay, how are we doing for production still? Okay, we're making some headway, but not a whole lot on some of our key problem areas of artillery. Oh, what are we doing with Spain? We've been ignoring Spain, and hey, Spain has been going well while I've been away talking about other things. Yes, okay, so we have better fighters. Let's do that. Okay, where is our expeditionary force. There it is. Okay, here we are. We have this area somewhat isolated. Let's drive to here. Don't know if we can get into Madrid from here, but hey. Hello, Sports Gamer 15. Not sure which virus, if you're talking COVID. Oh yeah, I'm personally very careful about that. Hey IKB, how you doing? We'll get to, I don't know that today, just various things have been up with me this last week. Not bad things, but just sort of unexpected stuff I've had to deal with. So I don't know when we'll get to more Railway Empire, but don't worry, we will get there at some point. Okay. Now, let's form the Waffen-SS. We'll do that. Okay, we got some more steel, aluminum to make sure that we can build aircraft. Hydropower. We need synthetic inactive. Okay, so we've got to do some more research. Make sure that we can get enough synthetic rubber. Okay, well, in the meantime, let's just build more arms factories. Is that the Thick Cities Mice? This is World Ablaze mod, if what we are playing here now. I am far from like any sort of great economist, but I'm still, my mind is still back on the economies, even though we're fighting battles here. But I think I understand principles of economies. I'm just still stuck. Should there be such a caustic effect? I don't know. Just don't know. Oh, includes Thick City. Maybe, because I have noticed that obviously this is a sort of super big city for Madrid, which I don't know how big it was. We see Berlin in two sections here. That I did notice that. Don't know. Paris, a little bit bigger than usual, so I did notice that, but I'm not sure. Companies, the way that if we're talking in this mod, I think they're all right because they're different than the standard, and that's fine, particularly in the idea that research, that we have a fixed historical tree, which I like. I get the idea of dynamic to go, hey, let's just say Germany, instead of having, because the two basic fighters, the 109 and the 190, are both in essence short range fighters. The 109 I think is the shorter of the two, and there's so many different models. Some of them had drop tanks. I'm not sure. I'm not an aircraft expert. This is, I believe, is a high altitude fighter, particularly. So I'm just have general knowledge on this, and there's a whole lot more models than what is shown here. And so I get the idea of going, say, hey, what if Germany, is sort of, make something sort of like the 109, but I don't know, lengthen the hull a bit, or something to put in more fuel tanks, so you have a longer range fighter. So I get the sort of dynamic where the way they went with the base game. That's fine. And then, depending on what aircraft company you had selected when you designed it, it gets different traits, more maneuverable light fighters or something like that. I get all of that. It's not a bad idea, but I just sort of like the historical model better. That's sort of my personal preference. Well, thank you, Challenge Boys. I really do appreciate that. Okay, so we now have some more factories. I'm still just looking here at artillery. Well, we're getting close to artillery. We're getting close. I think it's... Let's do another... Well, let's while we can. Well, let me see about that. Okay, let's throw on... Yeah, I guess we're going to throw on another 5 once we get them. What we're going to do here is we're going to go to plus to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. So once these get done, we'll upgrade to newer boats. Now let's look at the tree for aircraft again. Okay. And okay. I like I say, I like the idea of having the historical models, or at least a good basis of them, a good selection. You don't need every model of the the Emil version of the 109 necessary on this type of a game. You just don't. Could be cool. Yeah, I'm not against, putting all the sub models in. But it just, eventually maybe gets too much to deal with. So good base model here, picking out different ones. And then I'm just trusting these guys that did this part well, because I'm not an expert to really try to judge. So I'm just, when we're talking this. Now, if we're going to start talking tanks or something else, I may get into a little bit more detail. So I like this. Now, what I also like is the idea, whether it's this or if we're looking at here, I might come along and go, okay, we're going to produce this once we get it, but we might, well, this is all the way until 41 is for the L model, though there might be some events or other things to push it. You might skip some of the intervenient models of tanks or aircraft and not put them into production. But let's go back and look at this again. Oh, no, wait. Okay, so we are in 38 now, beginning of 38. Do we want to jump to this? Or do we just want to keep, or do we want to wait till 39? I think we're going to do that. See, this is the thing. We're just going to keep producing large numbers. Hey, thanks for following. Do appreciate it. And yes, hello. Scappy 5? I don't know if that's the best way to play this. So here we go as primary fighter. We might do both. I don't know if we're going to do, we're going to, what I'm thinking of doing here is skipping production of the D1, and when we get starting of 39, just research this and then jumping past that. Things are going well. What do you think about? Okay, I've been watching. What do you think about? Not quite sure what you're asking me there, Sports Gamer 15. What do you think about the companies? Is that it? I thought I was already on that topic, but I sort of liked the way they were doing that. Okay. Yeah, let's go down back to Spain. Our little armored thrust here looks like it's about ready to make its push here. Let's come on, defend. Sort of energized nationalists to attack. I was hoping to be able to follow on while these guys were still disorganized, but it doesn't look like to be the case. Ah, okay, good. So what we're going to do now is start a production line with the new model submarines as maybe some heavy fighters. That's a possibility. I like Germany's heavy two-engine, the sort of BF-110 line, but I don't like them as fighters. I like them as bomber interceptors. I think they work good in that role, as well as a ground attack aircraft as well. Okay, so they're now falling back. Oh. What does that look like? Attacking across the river into the ocean. That doesn't seem like it's a good plan. No, let's stop that. Let's attack here with these guys. No, let's not. Let's come around this way. I'm trying to be smart. Get across the river. See if we can cut off this wing maybe here. Who knows, gamer may be smart. Yo, there's massive changes from vanilla. So far I'm liking most of it. Of the changes. So far it's good. I have concerns, but so far it's good. And I hadn't heard of World Ablaze 2 weeks, before 2 weeks ago. Or a week and a half ago or something like that. And they've done a lot of work. I'm surprised that I hadn't heard about it before. Because I'm supposed to hear about everything. No, not really, but where type 3 class submarines, there we go. And uh-oh. Sorry about your Stellaris game. No problem about your English, just sometimes I need a little more specificity on the questions. Okay, 50 fighters to technical. Let's send them some fighters. Okay. We have okay, we have some command points. Let's see, we want to guerrilla fighter? I don't know if we want. let's look back up here.
Ihre Befehle? Bereit. Achtung.
Nope, he won't. These guys don't look like they're ready to. I just wanted to spend some of the command points. I'm also thinking about doing here is adding heavy infantry weapon equipment. Yeah, we need more of that. We are getting more production in those terms. In heavy equipment. Hey, thanks for following. Do appreciate that. And I'm also live on YouTube as well as Twitch, just in case that is easier for you to watch. What decisions are coming up? Oh, we need to do that again to catch up with the British. That just seems like a pain. Balance arms exports, whatever. Okay. Yeah, that's fine if Spain doesn't join in. I just don't want Spain to be an enemy. I don't want it to be, you know, a Russian puppet. That's something I don't want it to be, so I sort of look at it as a preemptive training war that keeps... What's the YouTube? Certainly, just a sec. Let me just Alt-Tab over and I will post a link to the YouTube channel. Copy. There you go. So if you want to follow that link, you can subscribe over on YouTube. So watch, I'm live both places, and there's lots, of course, pre-recorded videos over on YouTube. What I want to do is come here and then cut off here and cut off all these units from Madrid. Oh, and we can add in another light tank, light artillery. Production costs, that's what we're producing now. We're not producing any heavy, we're not producing any mediums, but we may get the points to switch over. So we're going to go to man for now. Reduce the cost of... Okay, everybody that's here live, just hang loose. We're going to keep playing this, but those watching later on YouTube, I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I love hearing from you, so please post questions, comments, suggestions. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron. Don't worry, guys. We're going to keep playing here. Just recording episodes for YouTube as well. So I will start another episode here. Well, just a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a Coke. So it'll just be a second. I'll be back. No, we want you to look at pretty battles in Spain while I'm away. You can see how this is going. But I'll be back in moments. And I'm back. Not too many people left. Well, I was really cool. Just need to keep talking, so I need to drink something. Looks like we're facing a... Okay, let's see. He is skills 5. Organizer, infantry leader, trickster, mountaineer, infantry expert, and improvisation expert as well, where we just have Guderian, panzer expert, panzer leader, and trickster. So yeah, okay, let's start another episode. Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 with my playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 with the World Ablaze mod. Just taking a sort of a first look through it, seeing how it's going. Now we have more civilian factories available. I don't know that my balance is good on all of this stuff, but we will continue to expand our production. Okay, now we're going to jump over here. We're going to do, oh, that's still 39 for processing. Now over here it says inactive because raw resource shortages. Oh, but we don't have enough coal? We can't build that or something. Okay. Steel mill inactive. Not quite sure. Okay, so this is also going to do that. So yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I think we're good with this. Let's come back. Ordering pizza well, always pizza's good. I was going to say if the pizza's good. No, it's always good. You always want pizza. Okay. Okay, let's improve our support weapons now since we are in combat with them. Oh, oh boy. Nas Lear Reborn? I'm butchering that, I'm sure, but glad to have you here, even if it is hard to pronounce your name. Paratroopers or mountaineers? Well, we already have mountaineers. That's more likely to... Paratroopers, I don't know. I'm absolutely for them, but they're often just not as useful as maybe things could be. Don't we already have mountaineers? Special forces. We have some mountain divisions. Maybe we should do this. Mountain infantry 1. So I know we have some mountain units. They've got mountain troops. And our inherited Czech ones are weaker. Okay, aren't they? Yeah, they look weaker. Yeah, they're considerably weaker. So what we should do here is, this is weaker, so we should convert this to This, I guess. Is that what it? No, I can't. Is it locked in there? Cannot be changed to this template because that would cause us unexpected special forces. Okay. Okay, somehow converting over the others would break the cap on special forces. Okay. Well, I agree with the idea of some caps for special forces, but I was just wanting to change their templates within that. You can do a historical Germany and just use your as Marines anyways. Yeah, that's sort of how they were used. As well as air landing troops too. In a little bit in Norway, but more, let's say, in Crete. Issue weapons contracts, very nice. Okay. Another research slot would be nice, so we're going to go with that. German mountain troops were particularly versatile. Okay, light tanks, medium tanks. Okay, well, we're down a little bit on tanks, generally speaking, and we're still not caught up on that. But, we're gonna start medium tank production. At least get it started. Hello, Eagles. Ah, yeah, okay. You've switched over to the Twitch. Cool. Either way, sports gamer Eagles, 1930. Well, these battles, to me, it seems like they're taking too long, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean, we're doing well in them compared to the enemies, but still. Okay, elastic defense, that's good. See, guys, you shouldn't be pushing here. I know you're sort of doing okay, I guess, but you should come here and push here, then we could cut them off and trap them, but no. No, you don't do those things, do you? Okay, combined warfare. Good. Okay, I guess we want to do that to unlock the next tier. Well, thank you. Yeah, you were calling you Mac, because that's Mac A. I don't do well with Cyrillic, sorry.
Zeigt es ihnen!
Yeah, I'm planning on invading the USSR at some point. Not real soon, of course, but at some point, yeah. mean, that's the whole point of the war, isn't it? To take out the USSR at some point? Okay, you know, I'm going to pre-draw the next move into there. Once we win here, to circle around. Okay, while we're here, can we push into this as well? Yeah. I mean, we have to take on the whole world all at once, or, you know, hey, what happens to our Nazi card? Okay, artillery, we're going to increase artillery production. Okay, yeah, we'll go to 5 and throw on another 5 once we get there. Come on, Spain. You didn't follow up fast enough. We got cut off. Now we're here. Oh well, now we're connected through down here. Good. No. Let's push back through to here. At least that was the point of this exercise, was to cut off troops from supply from Madrid. Oh, you've cut us off from there. Oh, bloody. Okay, attack into the mountains. Maybe that's better than attacking into the cities. And yes, that would generally be better for panzers, though neither of them are the best options. Okay, let's see about... Well, since we have armor in the field, let's get Rommel in here to get his bonuses. Now... I hope people are interested in, you know, it's last episode now, my talk on economies and war. I find them both interesting and vital to understand the situation that things were going on at the time. Let's just come over here. You need to understand the context. Ghost division intensifies, yes. Well, they've so far been doing fairly well. Okay, let's push up that way, try to kill this pocket off. They ever kill that pocket? They killed that pocket up there off. Okay, you guys come back. Attack that way. What do you think about the economies of this mod? I tried it a day or two ago and decided to watch you first. Yeah, that's what, I have my concerns with it. Whether you want to go back on this VOD or when I posted, I did the start of the previous episode that I just made. Hello, Arno. Good to have you here, my friend. I went into what I was thinking about the economy in some detail. My current appreciation is that it's unnecessary. But maybe as I play deeper into it, I'll find it useful. Because I'm still thinking on this. Because obviously I know people are now on the second day, and what Mac is referring to is this whole thing here. If we were talking to... Okay. Real Hearts of Iron is designed to be a roughly 10-year period. 36 to 45 or 46 or however you want to look at that. 10 years. I know some people want to, especially in some mods, want to sort of play this as EU 20th century, and that's very much how a lot of this game goes. I'm doing good. Anything new? Nothing terribly new. Nothing I really want to go into here. I mean, things are going well with me, so things are good. So, and so if we were stretching the time period out, like stalling World War II to 1942 or 43, which was sort of the intention. Okay, Hitler never intended to have a world war. Hitler wanted a couple of training wars. He wanted a war with Czechoslovakia, but nobody else at the time. Then he wanted a war with Poland, but nobody else at the time. Then at some point, it sort of debated, and obviously they weren't sure. They wanted to rematch the war with France and maybe Britain around 42, 43. You know, have their navy built, have their Luftwaffe really built. And take them on. And the reason I say they don't want a world war, because they really didn't want to go to war with the U.S. They really didn't want to go to, at the same time at least, or if ever. So I don't know that Hitler really had any great need or desire to, Monday research, very good. So it gets us another research pass. Yeah, let's do mountain infantry one, do that. Any real great desires to, battle the U.S., take major territory away from it, or anything like that. That really wasn't on Hitler's radar. And, of course, he wants to go into the Soviet Union, but he doesn't really want to have a war with the Soviet Union at the same time he's fighting Britain and France. That's sort of why he does the whole Ribbentrop Act. Okay, we're in 38. Tiger, that would be really pushing that ahead. So Hitler doesn't want a world war, but he wants a few small wars and then a major war with, probably as he sees it, France and Britain, and then after that's done, a major war with the Soviet Union. Well, yeah, and so if you're going to try, and it's really hard to do a lot of things and do that, but if you're going to try to have a situation that you're doing that, then this economic stuff is sort of useful or necessary. But as it stands now, I don't know that it is. I'm not saying it's terrible, and I've yet to play deep enough into it to know. Okay, how are we doing on resources production? Okay, particularly steel. Okay, plenty of steel. Okay, rubber, lots of coal. We got iron, which we're converting to steel. Yeah, looking good. Okay. Hello, Uncharted. I have to admit, Germany is spending money like crazy to rearm itself after World War One. Okay, it adds a layer of strategy to the economy gameplay-wise. It doesn't make sense for a country to go total mobilization and have no consequences for staying for practically forever. Okay, well, one, they're not staying with it for practically forever. I could see the argument here of not allowing the war economy. Because historically, my estimation of the way this whole thing is going is that Germany, say, 38, 39, before the war starts, they were at most doing a partial mobilization. At most. That's my estimation of it. Because I don't know if you're aware of this, because if you've watched my grand big series on Hearts of Iron 3, Black Ice, if you've watched some of those series, you probably know that, or watched some other good stuff. Germany still maintained a significant civilian economy up until 1941 for multiple reasons. That doesn't mean they weren't rationing, especially once the war gets going. That doesn't mean they weren't building heavily in the armaments industry. What it means is that they were producing a lot of civilian goods for domestic consumption. Partially, there's multiple reasons to it, but partially just out of fear of losing popular support. The populace, as well as some of the high command in the army, and of course some of the soldiers, are terrified with another war with France, seeing as they lost the last one. They're terrified of that. Now that all disappears once Germany defeats France. You can see, and if you look at my mod again, you can see the events that I took some stills from a motion picture of the victory parade in Berlin. My God, that was one hell of a parade. And people are just like fanatically joyous at that stage, in 1940 after the fall of France, and they run this victory parade through Berlin. They're just ecstatic with joy. Now, of course, they think the war is basically over at that point. Oh, yeah, there's maybe Italians, and we're talking in 1940. There's Italians fighting the British out in the desert. Sure, there may be a few bombing raids, depending on what the date is, in Germany from Britain. But most people, they may be living under effects of bombings, in the sense that there's blackouts and curfews or whatever may be going on. I definitely know there were blackouts early on. I don't know specifically when the curfews were coming in or not or whatnot. There was effects from it, but most of the cities hadn't yet to be bombed, so most people hadn't yet to do that. And of course, there were U-boats out at sea going after British convoys and, some surface raiders. But the war was mostly just, over there, away, not something at that point. So they were ecstatic. And then since the main war was over, why would you shut down? They actually slow down partially. Well, I keep wanting to adjust my words here. I think primarily they wanted to slow down things like tank production because they figured, hey, yeah, these tanks that we went into France just aren't quite good enough anymore after we countered some of the heavier French tanks. And we need to make, next version tanks. So why keep making the old not so good tanks? Now, of course, they couldn't quite go to various planners and organizations like, hey, we're about ready to go invade Russia in 6 months. Because they wanted to keep that a secret, if nothing else. So they actually slow down things like Panzer production. Because, why do we need more of these now were going to be outdated tanks. We'll just wait till we get the new designs in and start going, when really, of course, they should just be cranking tanks out as fast as possible. Any kind of tank, it will be useful at some stage. So, you know, they're keeping that civilian economy going considerably. I'm not going to say that it's equal to this civilian economy conditions here. It's somewhere between early mobilization and partial mobilization. They're starting to move to a war economy. There's still, like I say, a major civilian component going on, but they're starting to move to a more of a war economy. Where I would, in between here and here, I would have the, say, positive effects. I would have an intermediate stage here, have like the positive effects here, you know, military factory construction speed and dockyard construction speed amped up, but with the consumer needs factories from this. And then it's only, shall we say, once things don't go well in Russia, do they really start going over to a war economy. And it really isn't until late 42, 43 that they're really in the sort of total war, total mobilization economy in Germany, because it takes time to switch over. So I would personally adjust what conditions allow these more than I would do this. That's what I would do. Again, I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm just going, I don't know. And there's supposedly a bunch of, you know, like benefits when you take over Czechoslovakia, which undo some of that. Okay, well, just, yes. So what's, but yeah, this is World Ablaze. Arno, just catching the chat. A lot of stuff. It's sort of, right now I'm thinking it's maybe better than Black Ice. You know, we're going to see. Hello, Kaiser Red X player. How you doing? And this may be. Now, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it may be, just because we got to play it a lot more. And I still have my pet peeves with the, okay, I want a tough AI. I want a tough AI. I want that. Now, I may get my ass kicked. Oh, please give me good advice. But I really object to what they did with the invasion of the Soviet Union conditions for Black Ice. They just overdid the effects. Invasion of the Soviet Union followed Nanjing. Well, let's take a look at China. How's China doing? Okay, fairly historical. I mean, you know, not exactly by any means, but yeah, doing reasonably well. Okay, well, let's see if we can take out Madrid. We'll come up to these mountains up here and then push down into the city. Panzer divisions aren't the best for assaulting a city. But hey, we'll see what we can do. Okay, how are you liking the number of provinces for cities in the news? Straits. Well, really haven't gotten anything into the Straits yet. Yeah, that's the reason I came over here. Cities are, how do I put this? absorb a lot of manpower to fight in them, most assuredly. Yes, I'm looking at Stalingrad, as you can probably tell, for a good reason. I have mixed feelings on it. Stalingrad was not a very big city. It was nowhere near this big a city, but I get the effects that you're talking about, trying to achieve here. Where in comparison, Moscow would be at this time much larger than Stalingrad. It's probably about the same. Now, I don't know. And here's the problem there. That's the problem. France had it as an open city. The French soldiers did not have the heart to fight in Paris and see Paris destroyed in battle. I mean, they barely had the heart to vigorously man the Maginot Line. And this is the problem here. And this is sort of the grand problem with games like this. Players can be players and do what players want to do. That's part of the beauty of these games. The what ifs. Well, what if? What if Germany builds a big high seas fleet, and instead of me building all of these civilian factories, we built naval dockyards? What if? Okay. Now, some of the what ifs are silly. It would be silly to build massive amounts of naval dockyards and not have enough tanks and aircraft. I mean, that would obviously be silly. But you can do it. And for somebody like Britain, it might make sense because hey, yeah, we're building a big navy and we're just going to, keep out Germany. That's sort of kind of what Britain did anyways, but yeah. But when you want to, okay, here, and this is for anybody out there, and I haven't been looking up at the chat, so I will check it out in a moment. Just sort of thinking here. For me, whether it's the base game or the mod, I don't so much want to refight World War II just the way it happened in World War II, but I want the AI nations, each one, to plausibly work and do things in a historical manner. And it's not so much that I want to know that so long as I repeat the Fall-Gelb plan of invading up here, drawing the French and the British up into the Low Countries, and then cutting them off through the Ardennes and trapping them, that they're always going to fall for the trap. That is not what I mean by having nations play their historical patterns. What I mean by that is that France just has lousy, shall we say, command and control. And in a way that I would do that is have massive penalties for France on organization regain. Not so much massive penalties on organization for units, but massive penalties on organization regain. Now, part of the problem with doing that with the current AI is the AI loves to strategically redeploy their units around. So they're constantly moving units around, and then they have terrible organization, and it takes a long time to build up. Now, that is historically correct in that when France did try to move tank units by railways, they were massively disorganized on the other side, once they were done with the movement. In some cases, dropping the tanks off in one place and the fuel off in another, and the tanks running out of fuel trying to get to where the fuel trucks were for their division. So that they have lousy organization once they've been strategically redeployed is historically correct. And they have a long time, relatively speaking, getting reorganized. But the AI will just decide, oh, I'm going from this province to this province here with this one intermediate here. We're going to SR them instead of walk them. And so that they show up here and then they're massively disorganized and then get hit. That's a problem with at least the conventional. I haven't played this other than here in Spain so far. And so they like to use a lot of that stuff. So French units should be hit with a massive reorganization penalty, so that once you break a French unit, it ain't ever going to be the same, basically, as long as you keep pushing. So you can overrun them, you can push them, and then I would make something like Paris go, yep, no, we're not going to put any French troops in there. Just somehow, if you could, AI exclude. But you can put German units in there, and then once Germany takes it, basically that, and so long as they've taken a few other strategic points, France capitulate. Especially if we can get a deal to have Vichy France instead of keep fighting. So this is sort of the problem with the big cities, in that the AI is going to try to defend them, I presume. And defending Paris gets you bogged down into big city battles. So that's sort of the problem. I didn't forget in all the talk of the point of the big cities. So, and then, you also have the problem with Rome. Italy doesn't defend Rome. I mean, they fight in Anzio for Rome, but once Anzio is bust, and now it's the Germans, they all fall back. So, that's sort of the problem, is looking at this. Okay, I want to go back up to chat here, sorry. Okay, demilitarize. I don't know if making it a demilitarized zone during the war would work. Well, see, and part of the problem is I don't want it demilitarized in the sense that I want Germany to be able to take it. I don't know how it works, but I do know, at least in Hearts of Iron 3, that this part of the coast of Germany is an area the AI will not invade. Just how that's programmed in, I'm not quite sure, but it's told not to do invasions in this part, at least from Denmark through to the German coast here. The AI will not invade it. I have never seen, and somebody correct me if they're wrong, even in Hearts of Iron 4, whether they've ever seen the AI invade, like I'm talking British or American or whatever. Now, I have seen them invade up into Norway. I've seen them invade, France, at least part of the Low Countries, absolutely. But I've never seen this part invaded. So you need something like that to tell French and or British, particularly France, do not put station troops in Paris. Make it an open city. So you can fight like all hell in front of it, but once they burst through to it, they just get to take it. Yes, I absolutely. Even playing alt history, I keep historically focused. Yes, and I always want to do historical plausibilities first. You're paused. Yeah, I know I've been talking. You won't invade those areas in this mod. Okay, good to hear. Unless there are no divisions there, it's not possible, I'm afraid. Yeah. And so I don't know all the coding for dealing with the AI particularly and giving it limitations. Now, of course, the Spanish Republicans fought hard and bitterly around Madrid. So, this works in some cases rather well. In other cases, I see it as a bit of a problem. Not like it makes it terrible or anything, Really, I wanted to come to this part of Madrid here. And then there's clicking on the right, correct spot with all this stuff. Okay, so we have this. We gotta pick this or this. Shock and awe, which enables tactical withdrawal and grand battle plan. Well, not that the term shock and awe was used, but we're gonna go with that for Germany. You got air cover over Madrid. I did not send any volunteer aircraft into Spain, but it looked like for at least a little while we had some air cover, and they have a penalty, and yeah, so somebody's flying aircraft over Madrid. Yeah, I know. Partially just laziness. Come on, attack. Drive. We don't know what would have happened with London had Germany invaded. I am sure the British would have fought had the Germans invaded Britain, but I don't know how stiff the fighting would have been. And partially it's on when it would have been. Had Dunkirk happened and 60 days later there was massive parachute landings in Britain and some beach landings that had made it past the Royal Navy, the British may be in just too much shock to handle it. 1941, instead of going into Russia, you're invading Britain. I could definitely see Britain yeah, we'll do that pretty short. I can definitely see Britain by that point going, yeah, no, we're toughing this out. We're fighting house by house, street by street, because even if you haven't gone to war with Russia, just because of propaganda as well as equipment both being produced and brought in by Lend-Lease, I can definitely see the British fighting very doggedly. It is artillery. I'm getting confused. Yes, okay. So this sort of depends on when. Hello, Mad X Brad 13. How you doing? Okay. Okay, these are mutually exclusive. Let's see, deep operations, backhand blow, converging forces, blend the spear, encirclement, central command, air land battle. This is probably Germans historically, the Sherplong, the Kampf Group A. Yeah, we'll do the historical path. And hey, thanks for following. Do appreciate it. Fancy ever? Guess that's how you pronounce your name. Now this one here should have a check to see that they've got the checks. Yes, I was putting a pun there. Because we're probably pretty late on that. Do we have a big enough army to do? Should I passenger planes? Maybe we should have come over here. No. Okay, well, what we're gonna do here is, we've been building like crazy. Let's deploy that. Oh, we can't deploy that yet, but we can deploy him. I know we already have the national focus. We're going to finish that, but I'm just looking to see. Yeah. Oh, we need to put units in specific spots, maybe. Oh, we don't even have the 950,000 power yet. Okay. Well, we'll get there. I'm doing well, thanks for asking. I will never surrender. Well, people say that, they mean it, but sometimes when reality hits, okay, support weapons, that's nice. Basic medicine, 41 days to research. But, you know, well, what am I meant to come over here? Okay, well, these are not until 1939. Okay, yeah, it's just 38. But over here, let's do computing machines. We're going to do it, might as well do it early. Okay, how are we doing for things like steel, aluminum? We're not building lots of aircraft, so we're doing pretty good with all of that. Well, there we go. Okay, good. I was just going to say, even though, you know, Madrid should surrender, yeah. And they did, and our forces are coming home. Very nice. Okay, we are starting to almost catch up on artillery, and we've done some of the other things. So what we're going to do here is add unit, add unit, add unit, add unit. Okay, that will of course make our artillery needing to be a little more. Okay, let's do the 110. And yes, more artillery. Hey, Tippett! Can you show the tech tree? Certainly. Okay. So we have rather nice German armor tech trees into fantasy realms. Very fantasy realm. 1950, okay. And yeah, if you're really looking to extend the game out, I know that's only 5 more years. Some of those economic instability things do make a little bit more sense, but yeah. Oh, hey, Toyjet, do you have your P1000? They never would have made that thing. That was just somebody's goofy idea. Not even the nuttiest Nazi politician was really thinking in those terms. Trust me. That's just goofiness. And I'd make that, I don't know what it is, I don't know how effective it is, but I'd make it super effective and completely immobile. Can't move it anywhere. You build it, you place it, doesn't go anywhere. We can see interesting trees there. That's sort of basic, bit modified. Let's see, okay. Wish we could do better comparisons of these things. We can't. Okay. Okay, well, looking here, all this stuff, defense 20. Now, I specifically went in, and since I did this publicly for Hearts of Iron 4, I went in and looked at these artillery pieces for Germany here. And I know, Hearts of Iron, this artillery piece to this artillery piece needs to be better. And then this one has to be better than the previous one. Well, this is just going from memory. It was either this one or this one. One of them allowed for a heavier charge. And I'm looking here, breakthrough and soft attack. Well, this is probably pretty good. Production, and what I am impressed that production cost goes down here, because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the M18M, if I remember that correctly, let's plug it here. Yeah, soft attack 20. Yeah, you had a more powerful charge in the same basic gun. But then when you came to here, the main thing they were doing with this, and maybe I did notice the breakthrough increase. Really, all he did was it was a production simplification. And then the next one was even more of a production simplification. And not really any better of a gun for performance. So I don't know exactly what you're thinking here. But yeah, pretty good. But the production cost goes up. No, that's not right. Now, and I see this as a 46 technology. The gun that was probably going to replace the next standard 105 was a gun that had wheels on it, most surely, but the wheels would when in firing position, would be pulled off the ground, and the gun was on a I don't know if you want to call it a four-limber or four-legged platform, sort of like a Russian D-30, and it was designed by the Brno arsenal in Czechoslovakia that was really sort of advanced, just different sort of graphic model here than this thing. Don't know if that's what the designation was. I don't think it was that, but maybe it was. I don't know. But I don't know, that production cost may have gone up. But no, this is pretty good, because a lot of times they just want to simply make these more powerful when they really weren't. They were simplifications. These times, so shift click compare for okay. You don't lose efficiency when upgrading. I wonder if the USSR has adequate tech tree. Yeah, I haven't looked at the USSR tech tree. Hey, Drunken Barbarian. Still in development, I'm pretty sure. The Czech one was in, shall we say, prototype stage at the end of the war. If you could imagine, instead of the two trails coming off the end here that would separate out, imagine something that would go flat to the ground and there'd be four of them pointing out in the four compass directions, and the wheels would come up off the ground to allow that to happen. And it was a really revolutionary design for its time. But mostly, and I looked at all the major German productions, there was one increase in range, not in the amount of explosive charge coming out of the 105. And I was specifically looking at the 105 guns. Because, and I sort of liked it. You've split out, that they split out the heavy from the standard. Because they know often like 105s add 150s, 170s. This, though in a way, of course, this is incorrect because they were rocking this stuff. I think this as well pre-war. It's just big, heavy guns pre-war, and whether you want to build them or not. Where the Naval did get bigger as the war went along. Though these things actually sort of came late, the idea of firing them from the cradles. So mostly, for Germany, it was mostly just ease of production improvements, not performance improvements. Oh well, there's more tech trees to look at for Arno here. Quickly we'll see aircraft, a lot of aircraft model types, and they're sort of the German types, and naval, lots of stuff, carriers and whatnot. And we can see a different sort of industrial tech tree and different sort of technological tech tree. Any thoughts about Black Eyes? They currently recently uploaded, and I think it's pretty good. The supply seems more reliable, plus they have changed the way research is done, so I like it. Very good to hear, Drunken Barbarian. I was glad to find this mod, and I'm very happy to play it, and I want to play it at least into something of an invasion of the Soviet Union. My biggest concern, my two really upsetting pet peeves from the last Black Ice playthrough was reducing trade distances, that I couldn't buy oil from Romania. That I know how to change in a heartbeat. And then as you're alluding to, the effects of invading the Soviet Union get super terribly bad just right here. I'm not talking super terribly bad, at the gates of Moscow. It was getting way bad right on the edge of it. I just couldn't. Just not going to play that. And if they've modified it, I'm happy. So it doesn't have to be just the way I wanted to, but it was just super bad. Stream sucks. Well, Tippett, just so you know, you can also jump over to YouTube to see if the stream is better for you there. Because I'm on both right now. So if it's a platform issue or whether it's your local connection, I'm not sure, but you can always check that. Yeah, well, try YouTube, Tippett. Try YouTube. Yeah, but I radically reduced them down in some of the testing. That I did. Okay, I think I need...
Angetreten.
Try watching on YouTube the live stream, if you're having problems. Tip it. try, watching the live stream on YouTube. Maybe you got enough of that with the skipping.
Angetreten.
There we go. Tippet's over on YouTube now. Good.
Angetreten. Bereit.
See if that helps.
Angetreten.
Yeah, I definitely will, whether I do it in my spare time or just wait for. Okay. Yes, good. When I get done with this, playthrough, I will definitely give Black Ice another look, because I like a lot of Black Ice. It's just a couple of things were really bothering me. Okay, let's do some Autobahn.
Ihre Befehle. Bereit zum Ausrücken.
Okay, how are we doing? I know we just did that, but let's see. Yes, volunteers have returned. Okay, we don't have our manpower yet. We spammed in a bunch more units. We're needing more production.
Zuhören. Achtung.
Now, I did notice, that's sort of why I'm moving here. I haven't looked in close detail just which province. This piece. Okay, well now we've moved enough divisions around Czechoslovakia to threaten them. Yeah, I'm sure I can say this. I do know that that was the original intention of the Hearts of Iron 4 dev team, to require you to move divisions in and around Czechoslovakia, but I don't think the AI would do it. They were, so be careful with that condition. If you intend this mod, I don't know, and maybe your playtesting it's fine, but I've understood that to be something hard for the AI to make sure that it has the divisions in the right spots. That was some feedback that I got from them. So I don't know what you may have done to change some of that, if that is. A lot of things made unnecessarily complicated. Okay, well, very good. If your AI is fully competent in doing that. Because that's what they were definitely looking at doing, and like I say, I don't program AIs. I don't know how easy or difficult it is to get them to do that. But that was an issue. So they abandoned it after a while. They just had a size of German army requirements. I've played as most of the good affirmations. Most of the majors now. I've played as Poland. I've played as Czechoslovakia. Played as France. Played as Britain, Soviet Union most recently before this. Played as Japan. With various mods, standard game, various things. Okay. What do we need? Oh, artillery. I could have guessed. Your divisions are artillery hogs. Not saying that's wrong, because these templates look fairly historical, but that takes up a lot of artillery. And as you can see, I'm having some difficulty in keeping up with it all. Okay, yeah, just more. Well, yeah, more factories. Actually, let's see. Now that we have this, let's also sort of look out over Italy as well. Okay, time to add another. Oh. Eh. Yes, submarine production cost down. Yeah. Black Ice does a good job on a lot of things, and I think they've gone off the rails in some stuff. And I have a reasonably good friend who works on the project over there. But I think they've lost sight of some of the historical stuff that Panzeru kept them on a bit more. At least that's my guessing, and I miss his involvement there. Just being a little more colorful. So I will likely be playing that next. Okay, Rashad upon. How close are we getting to do? Oh, let's see. Oh, we don't have enough divisions in wherever again. Okay. Probably it's over here. I don't know. What is this? Neither should use it. Okay, move one of these panzer divisions. Too many out of here. Okay, let's unassign you. And move you here. Yeah, I don't like using front lines. I know I did that briefly here, but I don't like front lines. I don't want to play with them. I want to micromanage my armies. Because that's, to me, a lot of the fun of playing these types of games. It's a long one, but I think we'll do that. 70 days.
Alright. Ausrücken. Befehle. Ausrücken.
Maybe that'll give me enough divisions. Yes, so once that's done, almost historical, not quite, but time frame once this is done, we'll go over. I know we still have a lot left to do on that one. Yes, we're just starting, but we'll. I wish I could work out something with Paradox and get my mod released. So I do so many more event chains for all of this stuff. I don't know if you remember, but I told you a while back I had a lot to do with Black Ice Discord with providing info on British forces in World War II last year, but got kicked by Jack for suggesting things like one military factor probably wouldn't be able to provide. I miss Spencer. I don't know if I remember all of that. I know you had. I remembered a little of that. I didn't know that you got kicked. Maybe you told me, but I don't remember it. Yeah, no, Panzeroo. Okay, some of the stuff over on Black Ice just seems there. I mean, I'm not against it, but just seems complication for complication's sake. And I'm so far because so far I've not been seeing huge numbers of spamming of division so far, but we'll see how this goes. Standard Hearts of Iron. Most nations have much larger armies than they did historically. That's just a fact. Black Ice puts a lot of various things into production. I don't know how necessary it is. And so detail for detail's sake, can be overdone. So I always have to wonder about things like this. You know, should MP38s or 40s be in this line, or should it be a supplemental weapon? And that's a tricky thing to work out. I can't categorically say one way or another. It depends on how you want to look at this. You're just looking at armies equipped with bolt-action weapons. Say like Britain in 1940. Britain does not really get a submachine gun, at least that it's producing itself, until 1941. Which is a copy of the MP-18 for the Navy and maybe the Royal Air Force, but definitely for the Navy, and the Sten gun for the Army. So they fight the Battle of France without a submachine gun. Post-Battle of France, they buy a bunch of American Thompson submachine guns, use them in both commando roles, for their commandos that are raiding the mainland, and of course sending them out to the army in North Africa for use in standard armies. And they're just not enough. They're really expensive. They never get enough of those. So yeah, the British Army in 1940 does not have submachine guns. The Battle of France, neither does France. Soviet Union has them. And now should 1940 and is this just a cosmetic thing? Maybe, and maybe that's all it should be. I don't know. 1942. Get this, yeah. to me, this is a Wunderwaffe. And I haven't looked at all the effects versus whatnot, but the Sturmgewehr is a Wunderwaffe. So where the Car 43 would have been very appropriate as a semi-automatic, similar to like the US M1 Garand and all that kind of stuff. See, we were working on a unique infantry tree like tanks, etc. Okay, yeah. No, he said he got. Yeah, Uncharted is the head dev. We're going for the best World War II mod out there. Well, very good. No, I'm not releasing a mod. I have released, or at least not at this time or anytime soon. I have to. I'm only willing to do it if I can do a deal with Paradox. If you sort of get that meaning, I do have a mod for Hearts of Iron 3 Black Ice called Third Reich Events. It's rather popular. If you play Hearts of Iron 3, I would always suggest playing the Black Ice, and then if you're playing Germany particularly, play Third Reich Events. I have extensive plans for mods for event mods for Hearts of Iron 4, but I'm not going to make them for free. There's a lot of stuff there. Yeah, I hear you. The stats idea from bolt action to semi-auto and that kind of thing, but I really think the Sturmgewehr is a Wunderwaffe. It's an infantry level Wunderwaffe that people post-war don't see it as such, but at the time it was a wondrous thing. We have enough intel on any of these guys over here. Because I think it was something like 5 divisions or something in the Dutch army at home. There was also a bunch of, units out here. But the Dutch army at home wasn't nearly this big. This is the problem with Hearts of Iron. Division spam. That's because of the least. We'll see how the AI goes. But we can see here. I mean, my God, this AI still sucks. What the hell is the AI doing out here? Why aren't they back here and here and holding a more defensible line? That just, I'm not saying your AI is bad in comparison to the standard AI, but still, the idea that you're holding all the provinces along the coast just tells me that the AI still suck. Along the border, I should say, not coast. But yeah, okay, mountain infantry, good. And the AI programmers for Hawaii 4 just can't do it. Can't do a good. They kept telling me, well, we're going to do good AIs. We're going to do good AIs. We don't want to do scripted defenses. We're going to do good AIs. And I kept going, what makes you think you can do a good dynamic AI? What in your history of combat AIs for Hearts of Iron shows that you can do a good, we're going to, yeah, okay. And so they still haven't done it. One division is the problem. Well, yeah, exactly. It's the idea is the tedious micromanagement of troops is heavily really necessary. I love doing this. I do not want to draw the battle lines and then draw the arrows for advance. I want to do the micromanage bit soul. That is the way I find enjoyment in playing it. So the only true one weapon was combined arms. My grand, how difficult it was early on just to get artillery support when it was in Iraq. It was 2 minutes away. Yeah. The combined arms things. Well, okay, that, and particularly we can see in the invasion of France. On paper, France can produce more tanks than Germany can. France has a larger air force than Germany does alone. And it's a fairly modern air force. I mean, some of the models are a bit more out of date than some of the German ones. But, France got really upset at one point when Britain bombed some factories or something in Germany, because they were all afraid of the Luftwaffe, that it was going to get stirred up and riled up. This was before the invasion of France, obviously, with, Britain bombing some places because of the huge Luftwaffe. Well, France didn't know that it alone had a larger air force than Germany did. Germany was a lot of bluff. But it was that combined arms, that concentration of the Air Force literally one day around Sedan here for crossing the Meuse of, an air campaign on the far side of the river to get the Germans across. That combined arms definitely made, Germany the sort of unbeatable force that it was in France in 1940. You're absolutely right about that, drunken barbarian. That is not a question. Now, of course, Britain learns, America learns, and even the Soviet Union learns by the end of the war. Now, the Americans outdo the Germans by the end of the war. They totally outdo the Germans in that combined arms capability and responsive times, because they have, down to squad level at times, not everywhere all the time, but down to squad level radios. Germany has nowhere near it. Germany has a lot of vehicle radios for sure, but once the infantry is away from the vehicles, generally speaking, they don't have radios down at the platoon level, where the Americans often have them at the platoon level. Germany's mostly dealing with radios at the company and higher level. So the communication element and whatnot. But we're also talking about Wunderwaffe, things like the jets. Jets are Wunderwaffe. Whether it's, V1 or V2, or the late war German submarines that were becoming really sort of cruise submarines, getting rid of deck guns and, holes, without a flat deck on them and all that stuff, because they only made a few of those right at the end of the war, but those were really good submarines, I understand. And things like infrared lights mounted on tanks, on rifles, and then having infrared scopes on tanks and rifles that would allow for night combat. Those were Wunderwaffe, I don't know, we want to call them toys, because they're not all weapons in the sense that, the infrared lights on the Sturmgewehr for running around at night. Now, they only made a few of those, and it wasn't meant for every soldier to have one even readily, but it was meant to have a few, out there targeting at night. So, yeah. What about fallback lines? I don't do those unless fallback lines and drawing lines, unless, 8 divisions totaling 100 plus a lot of loose brigades and battalions totaling. Okay. Thank you, Arno. Now, I think a lot of that, of the home army. Okay, yeah. And so we see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 divisions there. So we're not too bad on the numbers right now if there's just these divisions. You talked about Mad Brad. We'll call him Mad Brad. Is talking about, paying attention to their own scouts reports. Well, to the point, let's just presume they did pay attention to the scouts report. But when they reported that, the scout sees a tank here, they get in a motorcycle thing motorcycle. Well, yeah, let's presume motorcycle, drive it back to the command post here with a report the tanks are here. Now, the French armies are because the French are so afraid of bad orders, either being sent over the radio or over the telephone, that they're only allowed to react to written orders. So let's say this is where the GHQ is or somewhere. So once, and even if they're, getting reports over the telephone or over the radio, then they get, okay, send a division to stop the tanks here. And they get in their motorcycle and drive up the orders to here, okay, you go to here to block them. And by the time that's already done, the tanks are here. They've moved across the river and moved on. I think the GHQ for all of the French army in this sort of area had like one phone line going out, literally. I think it was something like that out of the complex. That is a lot of the problem with France. And that's why I would make the French army not so much have some organization penalties, but have a massive reorganization penalty set up in their fight, and have that go away post, taking North Africa, that they become equipped by the Americans and whatnot, if you're having a free French army. But have a massive reorganization penalty. So once a unit is beat, you're probably never going to get, as long as you're advancing, attacking, pushing, it's never going to get reorganized back up. Now, if you for some reason stall your campaign out because you're afraid you're pushing too deep into it or whatever, yeah, the division may take enough time and get reorganized, fine. But if you're constantly pushing, once you push, a French division should never get back. Even the professional divisions, that there were some rather good ones, which should probably get, if you could separate them out as some sort of elite status, get them organization bonuses. Once they're beat, they're beat. They're not coming back. So usually the thing, hope. Listen, this guy. If they bombed it or contested it, would have been over for Germany. Yeah. Your general dislike orders, front lines. Yeah, but I go back to the old, tabletop games. And so, France is supremely set up in 1940 to fight the Battle of 1919 that never happened. That's what they're supremely set up for. And they do that would execute that most excellent. I really think they would have. But unfortunately, they were fighting the Battle of 1940, not 1914. Okay, well, man, these artillery. I keep dumping another 5 into artillery, another 5 into artillery. Okay, we now need more tungsten. Okay. So trade tungsten. Portugal. Okay. Why aren't we able to get more? I don't know. Let's see if we get some from Sweden. Yes, 2 factories. Oh, just so you know, Sweden doesn't have tungsten in any appreciable amounts, but they get tungsten in the game because of the special steel up here that either naturally has tungsten or it all got mined out, and they're really not quite sure from all my readings, quite sure what the natural element of the steel that made it so hard from what was up here. So the decision was made in Hearts of Iron 4 to give them tungsten to simulate the special steel that the special iron ore that they were pulling out and creating high quality steels that you would normally only get with mixing tungsten or wolfram, whichever the term you want to use. Though wolfram was more commonly used, I think, in Sweden. Mixing it with iron to create, an alloy. So yeah, no, they don't have that this big, but it represents their special steel that they made up there. That's what that does, and that was, yeah. So that's what was setting up there. No, I've not seen 1917 yet. I do want to see it sometime. I didn't want to see it in the yeah, we got to get the relations up. You ever play non-historic for fun? Well, I only want to play non-historic when it's done well. And although it's not been very popular with my viewers, I have enjoyed playing Kaiserreich. So if you're going to do a alt history thing, I want it to be fully immersive alt history, something like Kaiserreich. So we will improve relations, yes. So we are being hit. I think I did the autarky decision way too soon. I think that hurt me a lot in some of the relations here. Continued autarky. I don't know why I get such bad trade opinions. Are these trade opinions or just general? Because trade opinion is still in the game, you know that, right? Unless they've removed it and they didn't tell me. As opposed to just general opinion. They weren't supposed to remove it if they did, but I said they weren't. So yeah, that I think... I don't know that, because I don't know why I wouldn't be able to trade with Belgium and the Netherlands or the Dutch East Indies because I did this, or I don't get that. I just don't get that. And it was sort of necessary to get to IG Farben and such. Sure thing, Drunken Barbarian. We'll wait for you. No, we're going to continue playing. I will be putting these armies into, or these units into better armies and whatnot, but we need to get more units over to East Prussia. I do at some point need to better organize things up. Okay. Now, as soon as full liquefaction is done, we're going to demand the Sudetenland. Trade opinion is not reliable enough as general opinion when it comes to blocking trade. Germany refuses to trade with countries in real life and focuses on becoming self-dependent. I'm going to disagree with that statement on a couple of counts, and we can get to that in a second. Their mentality was that by trading with these countries, they will become stronger than Germany. Their mentality was that trading with these countries, self-dependent country, that trading, it will become stronger than Germany eventually. Okay. Well, trade opinion is, if you want to stop somebody from trading with you, is a very reliable one. I know I worked, I set up the situation where all of the League of Nations stopped trading with Italy during its war with Ethiopia. So I gave everybody whatever the, massive trade opinion. No, I've not used the expert AI mod, but they've improved the AI on this, so we're going to be seeing how tough that is. They say it's tough, and I'm not doubting them. We're just going to see how tough it is and see how good or bad I do against it. So, trade opinion works just fine, at least in my testing. Now, that was some time ago, but If I blocked off the trading, it stopped. Now, I don't know why you don't have just synthetic rubber plants, but as opposed to this with both rubber and that, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying because I know I used it, and because now the crazy thing was, which you can't quite do, is the League of Nations embargo against Italy over Ethiopia included only League of Nations, so it didn't include like the U.S., which wasn't in the League of Nations, even though they called for its formation. They never actually joined. That's another whole story. But the one thing they didn't embargo, and the one thing that Italy couldn't do without maybe so much, was oil. So they embargoed everything but oil. Yeah, that's sort of crazy, I know, but yeah. Now, of course, if you really want to get my undying love for a mod, is get rid of states entirely. I'm waiting for someone to do that. No states in the game. Just provinces. No states, just provinces. What? Oh, yeah, okay. Do we want to update our bombers or just more bombers? More bombers. More bombers. Why would it be laggy is? I'm just get rid of the states. I'm waiting to skip over to this in 1939, so I'm just spamming out a bunch of these, and then once we get this into production, we'll just jump to that. Maybe it's not a good plan, but that's what I'm doing. Like it doesn't lose it. Okay, well, there's no reason. Okay, if it doesn't lose efficiency at all or much or whatever. Okay. Well, okay, I'll take your word for it. So there. Well, it does a little bit. Like I expected it would. Well, that was a massive hit. Okay. Yeah, I have built radars. Okay, we got those, though we don't have pre-ICs to build half-tracks at the moment, which Germany really didn't. I mean, they built test vehicles at this time, but they didn't, small production runs. Hello, DJF 0909. Is my mic a bit low? Well, sorry to hear that. Maybe turn your audio up. I'm just pushing this. Let me get a little closer to my mouth here. Going for Panzer. Yeah, we've already got a few Panzer 3s in production. Just 2 factories, I think it is. Yeah, just 2 factories right now. Because we had been using up a fair number of Panzer 1s or 2s or whatever in Spain, light tanks. We don't have much of a cushion there even yet. Okay. Heavy fighters. Well, that's over here. Okay. Right. Okay. It's gonna go that many freaking. Well, I'm doing building artillery pieces right now. Well, I hate the state mechanic. The state mechanic just sucks. This, I think, is their main reason for the state mechanic. I think it sucks. And what I would just do is I would just have only a few of the provinces in what previously had been states be able to have factories or whatever. So you wouldn't necessarily get any more factory slots, but just move everything, all the state mechanic elements to the province, because you can have states of a single province, like Gibraltar. You could, if you wanted to, you could, have a massive amount of factory, if you set it up right. Just be like Gibraltar for everything. That's what because the problem is you get down to here. Oh, I can only have one air base and all this range. Well, you could build it better. Yeah, but the Germans can't have one, or the Italians can't have one here, and the British can't have one here. They can only have, and some of these things get ridiculously big. So all this thing, only one air base. Oh, well, you could build one in here. Well, okay, yeah, but yeah. It's air bases. Radar. Where can I put the radar? I can't, here. I can't put one out here unless it's here. And if this is where the radar gets located, I can't put one over here. I hate the state mechanic. I hate it. I don't see, other than laziness, I don't see a good reason for it. Oh, I'm sort of prepared for the idea. I want a big cushion of artillery. I don't want to just have just enough artillery to fill my divisions. I want more. That's why I'm just going I just want a bunch of artillery. We're building up, scout cars. Where's infantry? We're okay-ish on infantry weapons, maybe for 39. I don't know, 40,000 extra. Some of this stuff doesn't look too bad. So how are we doing with... Okay, yeah, just a -1. That ain't so bad. German-Swedish relations. They're an interesting thing, because I'm still thinking on, you were saying get the opinion up with Sweden to better train. Historically. Just a second. Let me. I'm just all tabbing out. I'm over here just. Right. And so this is why trade opinion is an important thing. Sweden, okay. Sweden's relationship with Germany during this era is a complicated thing. They give a Nobel Prize to a German. He gets thrown in a concentration camp because of it. Sweden is really pissed over that, but Sweden keeps trading with Germany. Sweden has a fairly large vocal, or multiple actually, I haven't looked too deeply into it, Nazi parties. But throughout this whole period, they keep trading with them. So you know, and because I sort of know some of the history here in Sweden and Germany, I forget the guy's name. I'd have to look it up. I was quickly doing that, but I'm not going to take the time to look up the guy's name. He's remembered in my mods. So yeah, I think Germany should get first dibs on all the tungsten that Sweden produces. Tactical casts tend to be enough, in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go for some naval bombers, or no. The blonde, curly-haired kid in my Facebook pics, he just been selected for Flannel Scarlet Switch Youth Academy for rugby. Don't know why I wanted to tell you, but I did. Well, very cool, Drunken Barbarian. Very cool. Very, very cool. After you do the Swedish focus. Okay, is there a Swedish focus? See, I haven't even looked, I guess, through your focus tree enough to see the Swedish focus. Guessing it's maybe over here. Secure Swedish iron. Okay. Ribbentrop. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm just playing this. I'm not an as you guys can tell, I'm not an expert on all of this here, the way your mod works yet. I'm fairly good with Black Ice. Okay, because I've been playing it a lot, and almost done with coal liquefaction. Another 5 days. And so yeah, if that comes, secure that. Germany does not produce enough steel for all of its needs. Absolutely. But Germany does produce a shit ton of steel. That's a scientific measurement, shit ton of steel. It does a lot. What the Swedish steel in particular was really, really high quality. So it was critical in that sense. It wasn't critical so much in volume of steel, although it was a significant element. It was that it was such high quality steel. That is where it really, really made the difference. And of course, I couldn't pronounce the name of the youth academies because it's some strange Welsh spelling of the word, of course. You Welsh are allowed to spell your words oddly. It's allowed, but it's still odd. It's full. I'm trying to look for empty, relatively empty states to put some more factories in. Nothing more odd than French. Well, hello, Islu Tingle. Oh, I'm not saying French doesn't have its odd pronunciations, but you can look at some town names and whatnot in Wales, and I even defy some of the Welsh to really properly just be able to know and pronounce them or something. Oh, no, nothing like some of the stuff I've seen in Wales. Oh, man. Okay, so we're through that. Okay, we're going to end the episode, not the live stream, so everybody live gets to hang out, but those watching later on YouTube, I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on all the stuff we've been covering and talking about World War II is such an interesting topic, and trying to interpret it into a game is a big task. So nobody's ever going to get it 100% right for sure. But it's always fun to try and talk about. So thanks, everyone. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron. Okay, let me just save this here. We will be continuing. So all of you live here, I will be right back in a moment, and we will continue this. Yeah. Okay, but put all that into like one word. Then you got like a Welsh town name or something. Yeah. Because Jag Sir Det Old De Skullen Mene. You know, that ain't that hard. Yeah, there we go. Drunken Barbarian. Yep. Thanks for backing me up with that, Drunken Barbarian. Welsh. Maybe it makes sense to the Welsh, but maybe it's just a secret code that we're all not supposed to understand what's going on. Well, good. Makes you want to die, yes. My pronunciation of your language, I'm sure, is butchery indeed. So, yeah. Now, I think what Drunken Barbarian just wrote was turn right at the next corner or something like that in Welsh. Or something simple like that. I don't know. Yeah. And it didn't help at the sort of time frame when they decided to figure out the spellings of stuff, the letter usage there compared to modern usage. Probably you would end up with a little better spelling if we were to do it in a more modern sense. But yeah. So yeah, no, well, Welsh is cool, but I got to make fun of them for their long, ridiculous, not enough vowels to too many vowels of indeterminate types language. Yeah. So, yeah, English is so nice and precise and useful and sometimes vague, but yeah, it's good. Okay, let's make another episode here. Welcome back to World Ablaze mod for Hearts of Iron 4, fellow armchair generals. This is, of course, Gamer1745. And hey, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and like the videos. It really helps me. It helps you if you like this type of content. And, of course, sharing it out and commenting also helps as well. So we're going to continue this. We've been talking with the devs while playing the game. We are currently preparing to get to Sudetenland. They do have a really nice event tree here that seems to be rather historically focused, which I like, as they still have left the sort of post-Hitler BS over here, but excuse me, we can just all ignore that and just stay with more reality-based stuff over here, which is good. Now, of course, with this mod, you do have the ability to have Walter Funk and Shaq at the same time, which would not be historical, but yeah. Now, Walter Funk is just the yes man for Goering. So, whether it's him or Goering in that slot is about the same thing historically. Not sure if you are aware, but Welsh in the South speaks different Welsh from those in Northern Weirdos. Okay, no, I did not know that there was a difference between North and South Welsh. My limited experience was mostly, just a few days on a bus tour to Wales. I've been to other parts of Britain a lot more, but Wales, unfortunately, not that much. And it was to mostly, Northern Wales, Carnarvon Castle and whatnot, Carnarvon, or however you want to say it there. And I definitely heard a fair amount of people speaking Welsh in Northern Wales. I understand that is where the most of the population that actually commonly speaks Welsh lives. So, yeah. Are we ever going to get done building factories? No, it doesn't look like it. Don't know if we should build some anti-air, but maybe. Well, hold on. Before we build any anti-air, okay, we can come up and click this to keep fighting the British over the Netherlands. I gets a lot of coal. Currently, though, it looks like we have plenty of coal currently. Give him a field command who's nutty enough to do that. I wouldn't know them, and they should lose the war immediately. Don't know if any of these are useful. And I also wanted to look over 3 million oil before the war. Okay, well, we're definitely trying to do some stockpiling. Current fuel, daily fuel gain, fuel capacity. Okay, we could import some more. Fuel. Why can't we find a trade route to America for... Okay. Why is the opinion... I get this. Is this all because of the autarky thing here for the Netherlands? In the United States? Okay, the story is with Germany, as far as I know, and from all of my readings, Germany does have a foreign currency problem. And so there's a lot of resources, German company, but I say, and part of the problem, and it's also a but to the problem, a lot of companies can more cheaply import things, or resources, I should say, resources from outside of Germany than inside of Germany. So that's why why the Nazis are doing the 4-year plan, is to increase primarily resource production in Germany of marginal deposits, ones that It might or might not be profitable, but definitely take a long time to, after investing in developing them, a long time to see a return on it. That's what the 4-year plan and the Hermann Goering Works are focused on. Now, trade with the U.S. Germany owes the U.S. a lot of money. The U.S. wants trade with Germany so that Germany can pay back its money. So I would disagree with the U.S. not trading with Germany. They want that trade. So, yeah, I don't know. Netherlands, I don't know, and more detail. The two of the most spoken areas of Welsh are North and South, but we speak Old and Modern Welsh respectively. I remember you were from the South. Speak it almost every day. Well, cool. U.S. oil purchase decisions. Okay, U.S. is not just our Turkey. Okay, U.S. cut off trade with Germany. Check your decisions. Okay. U.S. didn't cut off trade with Germany. Oil purchases. Okay, here. Okay. What are you talking about cutting off trade with Germany? What's your source on that? Okay, Tippett, you have a good night. Thanks for being here. The U.S. was wanting to trade with Germany heavily. They were doing lots of stuff. They were doing lots of. They were U.S. What was it? I think it was Standard Oil and IG Farben were in bed together, developing synthetic rubber and all kinds of stuff going on. Hello, unpronounceable Cyrillic name. How you doing? Sorry, I do not pronounce Cyrillic. But you're welcome here. They were expanding the Ford plant. I think it was around Essen here. Or no, it was more in Cologne. It was cold. Ford Motor Company was doing business. They were doing all kinds of trading with Germany. And U.S. companies were building factories in Germany and expanding them. And no, I wouldn't go underhanded. No. Hell, around this time, the German ambassador gives Henry Ford a really big Nazi ribbon and medal and whatnot in a public ceremony. Oh, no, there was Ford Motor Company, General Motors. I think they were dealing with Opel or something. I forget. I have to look at the... No, there was a lot of trade. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't change around, 39 and 40 once Germany goes to war. But no, before that, there's a lot of trade going on. And yeah, it's all between companies. It wasn't the U.S. government, but the U.S. government didn't handle any of that sort of trade. It was always companies with the U.S. government. So you're Russian, I'm sure. Hello. Yeah, I just don't just read Russian or Cyrillic. And not direct trade. Okay, well, I guess I'm disagreeing with that. Or I'd like to see if you ever want to post links to direct sources. You don't have to do it now or something. I would really be interested to see if in the 1930s. Because I'm just... all the stuff that I've read is encouraging trade. The U.S. is trying to do trade to get to build up the economic situation for Germany to pay back post-war loans. I'd love to see it Uncharted. I really would. Yeah, that's just, what because I'm just trying to think here, because I've done a bunch of events all dealing around with U.S. There was a bit of a problem with Germany not wanting to pay back some of its loans that U.S. made post World War I. U.S. gives Germany lots of money. Loans Germany lots of money to pay the war reparations to places like France and Britain, as well as Belgium and other places. And so Germany is having difficulty finding the currency and whatnot to trade or to pay back the loans. Germany, because I have, I don't own the copies, but I have like photographs or digital copies of like Ford factory magazines for Germany, because they give the Order of the Eagle or whatever it is. I forget the name of the medal they give to Henry Ford in the U.S. The German ambassador and some other minister go over and give it to him. Yeah, right around this time. I'd have to look at my mod to see it. It's in combination for Ford's support and development of factories in Germany, as well as for writing the book or sponsor writing the book or contributing to writing the book, The International Jew, which is a big hit in Germany because it's a very anti-Semitic word. Ford is a very anti-Semitic guy. And so, that's all going on very, very sort of above board, that whole Ford thing. And I'm only really seeing at this time, and all of the stuff that I'm finding is embargoes with Japan over its invasion. Now that changes once Germany is, invading Belgium and Poland and things like that. But this time, now again, if you find a period sources, I'll believe them. You find me period news articles, period whatever. I'll believe them, but I gotta see period stuff for me to change my opinion. Okay, well, we have the thing, not five factories for 90 days, bunch of fuel. Cool, we'll do that. That sounds good. And of course, more factories. To what? Build more artillery.
Zuhören.
Get rid of that.
All right.
Give him that division. There we go.
Ihre Befehle.
You guys get on trains. Come up to here.
Ausrücken.
Oh, pause. I thought I was off pause. Come on, go, 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 go. What can't you? What am I doing wrong here? You need to actually click the port? Yeah, okay. Italy pursues closer bonds with Germany. Very nice. Okay, they want to invite to join the faction. Is there a downside in asking them to join the faction now, or versus waiting to follow? Where is it? It's over this, I think. We got the treaty alliance with Italy. I don't know. That would be. Oh yeah, no. I'm not having them in the Axis doesn't mean I'm going to call them into war. Have a good night, drunken barbarian. Yeah, we'll invite him to the faction. Yeah, no. I often have people in my faction not getting them into the war. Okay, alliance with Italy, very nice. Bypassed. Because I think a neutral Spain is better than a Spain in the war or something, but having them in your faction can be quite nice at times, even if you're not having them actually in combat, actually fighting. Okay, insufficient resources. Okay, we're back to having problems with tungsten. Let's add another factory. There we go. Well, have we caught up yet? Have we caught up? Yes, we've actually finally have got to where we have a positive element of artillery. So that means what we're going to do here is, yeah, we're going to build some more some bombers. Get some of them in production. And then some more tanks. Okay, almost time for the Sudetenland. Unit conference, very good. We got the Sudetenland. Czechs have to retreat. Munich agreement, very good. First Vienna award, but let's see. Looks looking good. Jump in that direction. Yeah, Shaq does finally around this time, because of the Sudeten thing, finally leave his post as head of the Reichsbank or whatever. Yeah, we'll get Naroth into. Good. Good for Marados. You're in Australia too, because Tippett just went to sleep and he's over on your Perth coast, as it were, or your west coast, or whatever you want to say it, in Australia. Thanks for staying up with us. I do appreciate it. Yeah, let's do better. Anti-tank guns. Okay, let's look at this division here. So now we have support anti-tank. We were to do that. We have the manpower. We now have the tank gun, anti-tank gun. So let's do that. Yay! You're of course spamming them all out to all the divisions. Light infantry to regular infantry. Okay, we can see about doing that. We don't have enough for all of that, so let's cancel that. Let's see about just doing one battalion here. That means we're gonna have to chase that rabbit hole of heavy infantry equipment. Which means we're gonna come up here now. We're gonna do 10 of those. And now we're in 39, so that means we get to do this. Yes, factory output increase. Very good. And production efficiency cap. Hello, Will 2. This is rather historical. That's for sure. And I do appreciate that they're trying really hard to do that.
Achtung! Befehle! Bereit zum Ausrücken. Ausrücken! Befehle! Befehle! Ausrücken! Angetreten! Ausrücken!
Let's scare them Czechs with possible invasion from everywhere.
Ausrücken!
Check echo in the game. Yeah, I don't have headphones on, so And I'll turn down the audio a little bit more. Yeah, no, it's the mic that's picking up a bit. But you should still hear it, hopefully good. Now.
Angetreten. Bereit.
Naval effort, very good. And that's what it was, 70 days. Okay, we've got 70 days. We got to do the west wall, or we'll be a little too vulnerable. Okay, do we have a number of divisions that Germany should have at the starting of the war here? Because we've got, what, 40, 60, 70, 80 some divisions, I guess, here. And it's been the artillery that has been just keeping me from spamming more divisions out, but even things like light infantry and now heavy infantry equipment is a bit. No, not so. I'm just more wondering what is anticipated with the mod. Uncharted here is the lead developer. So, I'm just wondering whether my unit strength is up to what he thinks would be needed for this operation. Now let's put all of these under. Yep. I do hate the way this works, but oh well, it's what we have.
Bereit zum Ausrücken. Bereit zum Ausrücken. Ausrücken. Bereit. Ausrücken.
Now we can build more factories. No, stop that. Don't want to white build up to it the max. On a coastal province. Well, while we can, let's grab some fuel from Romania. They don't want to give us all of it. Okay, well then cancel that. Okay, well, let's see what Venezuela will do for us. Okay. Yeah, we should probably see about getting your flat guns improved as well. Yeah, I should expand this the template here. Oh, let's keep battling the British. Well, maybe we just go with light infantry added. Motorization, but okay, we'll do that. Oh, yeah, we're doing deteriorating economy. Naval is completely redone as far as I remember. I haven't gotten that far, so I don't know. Build lots of things to make sure to take Romanian oil fields. Okay. Now, okay, how are we doing for motorized? Motorized, we need more motorized. I've built a bunch of synthetics. I don't remember the exact number, but it's probably not yet 15 or let alone 18. Yeah, we'll see what we can do to get to Soviet oil fields. I'm not sure whether I'm going to try the southern strategy of taking, out the French and the British down in here and then pushing up, or just focus on invading from Eastern Europe. Not sure. Well, it looks like I'm about halfway to what you recommend there, and I've got a year to do it, so okay. There we go. That will increase it a bit faster. Just seeing here. More tanks would be nice. More mediums. We'll get them into production. Okay, good to know. Keep the infantry from using oil. Yeah, I myself have not been focusing much on, or at all really, on sub-doctrine research here, as you can well see. That should help, of course. Yeah, more heavy infantry equipment. 68, 70, 80, 90 divisions, yes. We've got 90 divisions right now. Oh, it's after. What? Why don't we have this as a possibility here? Spanish Civil War has ended. We were there. There's a bug in this. If I'm reading this right. Require wooden panzers. Don't we have that? Guderian's wooden panzers, yes, above it. Yeah. Spanish Civil War has ended. It's ended. It's after August 1st, 1936. Yeah, no, that's a bug. Okay, just as long as we identified it. I'm not upset or anything by it because mods have bugs. The main game has bugs, but okay, just as long as we know. Okay, acquisition of resources unlocks decision to use other nations' economy, reduce economic fatigue. Okay, that would be vertical arms integration, organization tote. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Well, first, let's bump us up a little bit there. Okay, oh, I want that. I just want it. We'll do that. We'll get Schroeder here. Yeah, I like to take my time. I mean, I guess I could speed this up a little bit here. Probably we could. Oh, I would be playing much slower if I wasn't playing for you guys, quite honestly. Does sure seem like we have a lot of factory slots used up. Okay, so we have a decent force up here, mostly just to hold. We still have all these forces surrounding Czechoslovakia, which we'll get to move over to Poland to fight there. We'll probably put a second division along the west wall, which now has a level of bunkers along it. So that's reasonably well defended. No, I think we're going to help Denmark take out Norway, because, you know, Denmark should own Norway. That sounds like a plan to me. Yeah, I find a lot of it just enjoyment in the playing of the game, I mean, as opposed to winning the game or getting it completed. Just in building things up, playing it, I find a lot of enjoyment to it. Now, I do know a combination of my long talks on things and play style, it can get a bit slow for a lot of viewers. So I try to balance that out. It doesn't always work well, but I try. Yeah, 7 days, expand. We'll see about doing that. Good, I gave Toy Jet a brain hemorrhage. All right. I was hoping to. Trade with Argentina is due to low trade influence. Okay. U.S. embargo. We have lost resource providers. Okay, well. Well. Well, good, Toy Jet. Okay, I think we're going to end the episode here. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the video. So far, I am enjoying the mod. Seems quite interesting. So we will be continuing this next episode. Again, post all your comments down below. What you like about it, what you don't like about it. Trust me, modders want to hear what you don't like about something. At least I know I do. Doesn't mean that they're going to change it to meet the way you want it, but they like the feedback to know what and why you do or don't. Just don't say, "Oh, that's the tank tech tree sucks" or something like that, because that's unhelpful. Tell them why, if you think it sucks, why it sucks. Tell them that, and well, they'll take it on board. I'm not saying, because I'm not speaking for them, but you know, they'll go, "Oh, well, this," and they'll keep it in mind, because I just know myself from modders. Doesn't mean we're going to go whatever the way you want it to go, but we'll keep it in mind, because there's no point in making a mod if nobody's going to play it. So we as modders, because I know all the stuff I've done, I like feedback. People telling me what they like and don't like, what they want to see more of, less, or, you know, more of, less of, what, that kind of stuff. You know, I could definitely use the history lessons. Thanks. Very good. So yeah, and so that's all good. So you guys post what you think about the mod below, either based on the series or you're playing it. So see you next time for more Hearts of Iron. Okay, guys, I think we're going to end the live stream as well for today. I want to thank Uncharted and everyone for being here. I really do appreciate the tips on playing it. And you've got a good mod here. I'm still, you know, not saying it's wondrous or great until we actually get into the playing of the real wars, invading of France, invading of Russia, and all those good things. But it's looking good. So I do appreciate all your hard work. Trust me, I've done enough modding to know that this is a lot of hard work. Just make a second save. Just to be sure. So, yeah, so for those of my friends who play War Thunder with me, I may very well be playing tomorrow War Thunder, but I am not setting my alarm clock to wake up at my normal sort of to live stream at 7. If I'm awake, which I very well may be, I will be playing War Thunder. But just sleep has been, because of something going on, been a bit rough for me the last few days. If I'd just rather be asleep, I'm going to sleep instead of play War Thunder tomorrow. So don't, if you got something else to do, go do it. But if I'm awake, I will definitely be playing War Thunder tomorrow with hopefully any of you who want to join me. But if, like I say, if not, I'll just be asleep or something. So I'll maybe seeing you tomorrow or not. And of course, we'll be back next week with more of World Ablaze.